What's going on, guys? Knoxville 363. Just got the LG Marquee about a couple hours ago, so I figured I'd do a LG Marquee versus ZTE Warp video. As described in my review, I discussed how the overall presentation of the LG Marquee I found to be quite a bit nicer than the ZTE Warps. Now I do notice that the backing of it and just the overall phone itself does look a lot nicer. See, the point I was trying to make with my ZTE in all my videos is that this just looks very cheap and generic, and I think that they could have done an overall better presentation, even if they wanted to use the metallized or metallic or matte finish backing like here on the LG. I think they could have done something a little bit nicer to make it more appealing to the eye, basically. And the fact that on the LG, the phone is basically with the surface, it's smooth, it doesn't stick out, as opposed to the Warps, which, let me flip it around. It's hard to tell, but the camera does stick out. So unless you put a case on it, that can get scraped. When you put a case on it, it's perfectly fine. But I just thought I'd point that out. Now, as far as the ZTE Warps display, there's no problems. I didn't find it very grainy or anything else along those lines. Now, one thing I will say is, when you look at the Marquee, it does look a lot nicer as far as display goes. I thought that when I first heard about the Nova display, I'm like, oh, no big deal. I don't think that that's going to play a huge factor. However, it does. I mean, when you put these two up against one another, you can see a clear, distinct difference between the two. I don't know if it's as distinct from the camera point of view, but when you're in person, you're going to notice a difference immediately. Another quick thing, obviously the Marquee has a 2-megapixel front-facing camera and the ZTE Warp does not. I would have thought that ZTE would have incorporated that in their phone, however they chose not to. That is obviously huge if you're into the Skype and Tango. So the buttons on the bottom are obviously not like the transforms. They're not physical buttons. Once again, they're built into the phone. I guess that's how you could describe it, or they're within the surface. Now, one thing I will say that's pretty obvious is just how lightweight the Marquee really is. In my pre-release opinion video, I stated that 1 ounce really wouldn't make that big of a difference. I cannot just tell you guys how lightweight this phone is. It is virtually weightless. It is so awesome. I love that about this phone because nobody likes to carry around a heavy device. Now, the ZTE Warp is also a very lightweight phone. I love the way that this phone felt. It felt great in my hand. However, that's just one thing I thought I'd point out, that 1 ounce difference is very big. And if you ever held both phones in your hand, you would know what I was talking about. All right, just so I stand corrected, after watching that review video, it is possible to record with your LED flash on. So right now it's on, and you can see it while you are recording video, as you can see right here. So that is awesome. So I'm gonna do a little demonstration on that too. Alright, so I tried to do a actual video where I uploaded what I took from my camera, however that wouldn't work. So I have it on video right now. And so let's just pan around my kitchen really quick. And I will go at the same speed on the Marquee. So as you can see, it's pretty smooth. Doesn't really lag all that much. However, you will see a significant difference due to the fact that it has a white scale on top. I don't know how to set it exactly. Let's go all the way. See, if I set it all the way to dark, then it's too dark. So I had set it right in the middle. So now let's check out the Marquee. Alright, now there were settings that I cannot set the same. However, just give you a basic concept of both cameras. Get a little bit closer as I pan through the kitchen. Well, let me stand back where I was before. So as you can see, obviously the white scale, you can change the settings on the ZTE Warp. You can't change it on the Marquee, which is why the picture quality is brighter on the ZTE Warp. However, I think that the camera runs a lot smoother on the Marquee and the picture is a lot finer. So as I can scroll through here, so I just thought that I would show the differences. Obviously I try to do it, upload the video that was directly taken from my phone. However, it would not cooperate with me. I guess it wasn't the right format, so this is the best I could do. Now both phones have 3 GB of internal storage, 2.79, and this is 2.31 because obviously I have apps on my Warp and I have nothing on my Marquee. So I thought that was going to be a huge difference. However, it's not, because they are the same. Both support up to 32 GB of an external SD card. Now, one of my biggest things is I really am into the vibrate feature on the phone. I like it to be strong because I never really keep a ringtone on. So here's the Warp. And here's the Marquee. Now, it doesn't seem like there's a huge difference. When you're holding both the phones, you will notice that the Marquee definitely stands out a lot more than the ZTE Warp. Now, speaker volume. Both phones have their speaker in the back left-hand corner. I will say this much, that the Marquee, that speaker on the Marquee is a tad bit better than the Warps. So if you're going to compare the two, the vibrate and the speaker volume is a lot better on the Marquee. So there's no need to download any applications like Equalizer or Volume Plus for the Marquee because the speaker's fine just the way it is. And yes, both phones do feature cornering Gorilla Glass. So as you can see, they both are very fingerprint friendly, just like all the displays on smartphones. Now, the LG Marquee has a 1500 milliamp battery and the ZTE Warp has a 1600 milliamp battery. So therefore, the battery life on the ZTE Warp, you should get more life out of it as opposed to the LG. However, I would not expect anything miraculous out of either of the phones to the point where you can have it last more than a day. And I just thought I'd point out that because a lot of people said they had trouble getting swipe on their ZTE Warp, that swipe and the stock Android keyboard do come pre-installed on the LG Marquee. Another cool feature that the LG Marquee has is it's hard to tell now based on the fact that I'm in a well-lit room, but the buttons when the phone has a display on, the buttons remain lit. And when you press them, they turn blue. As I pointed out in my review, that does not happen with the ZTE Warp. The ZTE Warp goes off of the proximity monitor, and that's when those buttons Now, obviously, one of the biggest things that people are always concerned about is the ease of sending text messages. Now, obviously, your keyboard will be significantly smaller. Let me get these two up next to one another. I'm not going to say significantly smaller. However, it is a lot easier to type on the ZTE Warp as opposed to the LG Marquee. However, you know, obviously I'm a guy, so I have bigger fingers. But sending text messages on the LG Marquee is very easy. The only phone I found sending text messages difficult was the Samsung Prevail. Come preloaded on the LG Marquee is your standard Android keyboard as well as swipe. Now, one last thing I thought I'd point out is the fact that the bottom lights, because I got so many questions on it on my Warp. Now, the way they light up is there's the proximity monitor on the top, and when it's covered, they light up. Now, the way the Marquee works is whenever the display is lit up, they light up as well. However, it's not very well lit, as you can see. However, lit well enough to the point where you're not going to find yourself, oh, I don't know which button I'm looking for. Both phones do have the proximity monitor on the top for when you're making phone calls, so when you merely pull the phone away from your face, the display will come back up, and that's how you can end your phone call. So, if there's anything else you guys would like to know about either of these phones, feel free to send me a message and I will be glad to answer it for you. Hopefully sooner than later though, due to the fact that I have to get this warp back, due to the fact that it's no longer mine. So, I hope you guys enjoyed this, and feel free to favorite, subscribe, and make sure you guys, if you guys have any questions, you send me a private message. Hey, what's going on, guys? Knoxville 363. I know you guys were really big into my giveaways, so I figured I would show off these nifty little bags. These are for the Samsung Replenish. I thought they were Boost Mobile, but they are pretty cool. They are like your typical gym bags, your zip tied. So I have a orange and a bright yellow one, and I know you guys are all like, oh man, I can't wait to win that war. Well, I got some bad news. I am not giving away my ZTE warp, because instead DJ and I will be hooking you guys up, 2 people, with a brand new LG Marquee and a Samsung Replenish. So make sure you guys leave your comments below. You don't even need to be subscribed to my channel. All you gotta do is leave a comment below, and 4 random people will be picked, and that's how we're gonna do the giveaway. So I'm gonna put DJ's Twitter in the description below, and my Facebook. Make sure you guys follow him. Make sure you guys like my Facebook page, and good luck to you guys all. This is the best giveaway I've ever done, and good luck to everyone.